Is it just me, or is it getting crazier out there?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to What the Phobia. I am your host, the creepy journalist, and man, is it hot as fuck. Now, I had said a few weeks ago that we were going to be doing a new series called The 7 Deadly Sins. Now, there is a lot happening in this world, and it makes me wonder about the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. When I was growing up, I was raised and taught about Catholicism. I think that's the proper way to say it. Yeah, I still go to a Catholic church, but for me, it was always a interesting place to go to. Church is what I mean. Because I always had my questions, my doubts, and, I'm not really one to conform to things, just because I always question shit, and I'm always getting in trouble for it. I'm always pissing somebody off, but that's the point. Where do I start? So, the good and bad. What is good? What is bad? We are shown, right, in movies and stories, that good always overcomes evil. And when it comes to evil, I think the 7 sins, 7 deadly sins, the 7 cardinal sins, right? That the 7 impulses of humans are, well, what I'm saying is that impulses, as far as human nature, can be broken down into 7 basic principles, the 7 basic names, and it baffles me that somebody went through this much thinking and simplified the hell out of life. How could that be? And how can you label such things, such impulses, as negative? Because when you hear sins, you think hell, or at least I do. I don't think, oh yeah, I'm going to go to heaven with all these sins. No. You think sinners, you think bad people, as far as what tradition goes, right? And I think a proper name for this particular episode is vice or virtue, sin or syndrome. That would be the name. But what is right? What is wrong? I can give you a ton of examples right now that don't need further thought. Everybody will have their immediate impulse on what is right and what is wrong. But it does make me question the way that I was raised. Critical thinking was not something that we're supposed to learn. Critical thinking is something that's developed. At least that's what they tell you in school, critical thinking. Do your critical thinking workbook pages or whatever. And they ask questions that most kids, such as myself, didn't know how to answer them. Why? Because I've never been taught how to critically think. I've never been taught to think for myself. A lot of the times it's school, at least public school, was very similar to the way that church was taught, in the sense that you must listen, you must obey, you must memorize, and you must repeat. Very simple, huh? Here's the thing. I don't like to obey too much. I will if I think that it's necessary. It's not to say that I'm a revolutionary, right? But I think I have some revolutionary qualities. For example, don't wear this. Don't wear that. Why? Doesn't look good. Well, I like it. So fuck you. You shouldn't like men. And I'm not saying this about me, okay? I'm just talking about in general. You shouldn't like men. You shouldn't like women. Right? Lesbians and gays. And anything in between. Why not? What's wrong with someone liking everyone? Or liking no one? What's so wrong with that? People will shame others because of the way that they are, because of the way that they think, right? Everything for me comes back down to church. I've been taught in church that a man should marry a woman and have kids, and the kids should honor their parents, but I never hear about their parents honoring their kids. I've seen a lot of toxic, very toxic relationships between man and woman, husband and wife, father and son, mother and daughter, and everything else. And I can't help but think that when you are only shown one side of the coin, you are just setting this person or people, right, group of people up for disaster. Because how do people get along? People only get along when they understand each other, right? When they're all in it to win it. They're all in it together. They have a, what's the word I'm looking for? They share the same vision, right? If there's a team, basketball teams want to win. They know that the game is not about them. And yes, obviously, you'll see this in like basketball, any sport, okay? I'm not going to be specific, but any sport you'll see that there are those show-offs that know that they're better than everybody else. But there will be a time, believe me when I tell you, there will be a time where they need help. And what's going to happen? The team will not help this one individual. Why? Because they're being assholes. They're not being understanding of what the team wants. The team wants everybody to win. Playing? Whatever, dude. You know what? Sometimes you get a position you don't get to play, but you participated. And that was the point. That you were there in case we needed you. Okay? Not, we need you and you're not there. Physically, you could be there. But if you're not there for the team, what is the point? You see where I'm getting at? When it comes down to people, and groups of people, families, nuclear families, we've been taught, I don't know, you can't have same-sex marriage, that a child should not have two mommies or two daddies, that pink and blue are specific to a gender or a sexuality, right? When it comes down to being prideful, lustful, or any of the other sins, that they're wrong. Why? I'm going to give you one perfect example. Because the very first sin that we're going to talk about, not on this episode, on the next one, is going to be pride. Perfect example. When you see a loner in school, right? You know that they're a loner. Why? First of all, there's no one around them. Nobody's talking to them. But you see that they have this physical thing to them, right? And this isn't always the case, okay? I'm just speaking in general. They have this physical way of being. They're slunched over, they have maybe their hoodie on all year round. They tend to just sit by themselves. You just know a loner when you see one. Now, when it comes down to being a loner, you tend to think a lot to yourself, right? If you have no one to tell you or no one to listen to you, right, those thoughts get bottled up, positive or negative, right? As opposed to when you have people around you, you can express yourself and tell them what you're thinking, tell them what you feel, and that's a big deal. Where am I going with this? Fuck, hold on. Oh, yes. Sorry. Sidebar. That was a sidetrack. I don't know what the fuck happened. Anyways, here's the point. When we talk about people in general, right? There are some very basic things that you notice in regards to the loner. You can see confidence or lack thereof. You can see that they don't want to be at the front of the line. They want to be in the back. Why? Because they don't want to be noticed. They want to be discreet. They want to be low key. They don't like that attention for whatever reason. Okay, this is why they're loners. But something that always comes up in regards to situations like this, teenagers, children, whoever, adults, we always seem to talk about their self-esteem, right? If you're someone that's prideful, how high do you think your self-esteem is? Or how low do you think it is? Clearly you want attention, if you're very prideful. You want everybody to notice you, Oh, look at the good work that this person did. And it makes you feel good when you hear things like that, doesn't it? I'm sure that the person that's lonely would like to hear things like that, but they've probably been put down so much in their life that they've never received that kind of appraisal, or they just never got it, in the sense that, like, they got noticed for shit, but negatively. You know what I mean? So you don't develop a sense of self-pride, self-esteem. You have very low self-esteem. Okay? But in the same way that pride works to boost your self-esteem, it also works to lower it. If you're not told, I'm proud of you, you won't feel proud. But if you're told, hey, you fucked up, you feel shame. You feel ashamed, you feel shameful. You understand what I'm saying? It's a very thin line that we are walking as humans every day. And if you're anything like me, you the listener, or anything like me, there is the chance, and this is an assumption, okay? There is a chance that you are like me in the sense that you are trying to be a better person today than you were yesterday. You're trying to be a better person tomorrow than you were last week, right? I think that humans and animals are much more closer in relation as far as, like, our behaviors than we think. We eat, we shit, we breed, right? And we die. I think these are all very basic concepts of most living creatures in this world, right? What sets us apart from animals? Is it our ability to engineer? I don't think so. A beaver can engineer a fucking dam better than a human can. Is it our ability to speak? Birds chirp, dogs bark. Not much of a difference there. So what is it? What sets us apart from animals? Because we are animals. We're just a little bit more advanced. I think it's this little thing called a conscience. Conscience? Conscience. Right? When Adam and Eve ate from the forbidden tree, the tree of knowledge, I'll have you know, what happened? We know what happened after, but I wonder, what happened previously? Were Adam and Eve humans with animal instincts? And after eating from the tree of knowledge, they suddenly got this of knowledge that now they are self-aware. They felt a sense of nudity now, whereas before they didn't. You know, you don't look at the animal and think and assume that they're thinking that they're naked. They don't give a shit, because to them that's normal. But all of a sudden, as soon as our ancestors, right, if we're going back through what religion has taught us, or at least the Catholic Church, that I think that was the moment that humans became self-aware and realized, oh shit, I need some clothes. They felt ashamed. I don't think animals feel ashamed, honestly. I think that's a very human thing to say. You know, I'm proud of you, or I'm ashamed of you, you know? Squirrels, bears, anything that not hibernates, but like chills out in the winter. Oh, bears, I guess, fucking hibernate, whatever. The point is, they will forage. Is that the word? They'll collect a lot of fucking food for the winter, you know? Do they need it? Do they not need it? It doesn't matter. They don't feel a certain way about it. They just grab the food because they know that they're going to need it at some point. If it spoils, it spoils. Whatever. They don't have a refrigerator to stash it in. But they don't feel greedy, you know? They don't feel envious towards another bear or another animal that has more than they do. They don't give a shit. They just keep going about their lives. So why can't we go back to the way that we used to be and do it? Well, I'm saying this right now. The way that we are living in this world, it's not going to happen anytime soon. You know? Everybody wants more. Everybody wants to take what's not theirs. Everybody wants to keep their home safe and not the next door neighbor's safe. Right? Everybody wants to play the blame game. Everybody. It's white privilege. That's their fault. It's Black Lives Matter. That's their fault. It's the politicians. It's their fault. The Republicans, the Democrats, it's their fault. The government, the system, it is their fault. Right? That's what it comes down to, ultimately. We're always blaming someone else. Always, always, always. I'm guilty of that. I'm not here to tell anybody that I'm better than them. Not at all. What I am here for is to identify and figure out why the fuck are we the way that we are. And these impulses, the way that we do behave, do they benefit us in any way? Or are they only here meant to destroy us? Is being smart, being the more intelligent species of the world, is that a bad thing? Or is that a good thing? Do we as a species bring more positivity to this world or negativity to this world? Based on our history, well, I'll just leave it at that. So the 7 deadly sins, the 7 cardinal sins, the 7 impulses of human nature, I think are going to be a very interesting journey into our human psyche, our ego, our selflessness, our selfishness. You know? Our courage, our fears, our pride, our shame. You know? We judge ourselves heavily for one main reason. Because that's what we've been taught. And the only thing that I can think of to fix, or at least alleviate the bullshit of this world, is to fix ourselves. You know? To take a look inwards instead of outwards. And figure out why we are the way that we are. Self-reflection is not fun. Believe me, it is not fun. But this is the only way that I can think of, right? That we can grow, that we can evolve and be better people, be better living beings towards each other. Towards each other, towards other animals, towards the world that holds us, or that keeps us alive, really. Because once we fuck everything up, we're done. The human race is no more. And the only ones that are going to be left are, guess what? Animals. Not all of them. Because, damn it, humans are going to hunt down every elephant, every tiger, any fucking animal that they deem exotic. Because it's fun. Is that right? Well, to them it's right. To everyone else, it's wrong. But who are we to judge, right? You see how the problem starts? We need to take a look inwards and figure out what the fuck is wrong with us. And hopefully, in these next 7 episodes of the 7 Deadly Sins, I think there'll be an 8th episode too, in regards to this series. There'll be 9 episodes altogether. There's the introduction, the 7 sins, and then a conclusion as to what we learned and what we can conclude about what the hell's wrong with us, or what's right with us. Yeah. Before I finish up here, I want to say a few things. More, right? Beirut, everybody that's out there, I hope things get better. COVID, if you've lost family, if you are sick yourself, I hope that you get better, and I hope that your family can get through this. If nothing changes because there is no cure, right? Assuming that there isn't one, that's worst case scenario. We have to adapt. We are humans. We've been here for a very long time. And if we're as smart as we think we are, we should figure something out. I hope sooner than later. And for everybody else, stay safe, wear a mask, protect yourself, protect your family, don't fight so much, love each other, learn something new. Trust me, there are people making business right now. So people saying there's no money, bullshit. There's always money. Oh yeah, for all you ride sharers out there, keep your head up, alright? There's too much money in this game for your shit to go down so easily. That's the optimistic side, right? But worst case scenario, what happens? Now you're all employees. They didn't say they're going to shut down the whole business. They're just going to suspend it until they figure out what the fuck their model is going to be. So figure something out in the meantime, alright guys?